Andrea Snow. John, I don't have a question this week, but I just want to thank you for the words of wisdom that you speak. You are real straightforward and take no shit. You and Amanda have built quite a life together, which is awesome to see. See you next week at Self-Reliance. Andrea, make sure you introduce yourself to me.
Please.
Because so many times people come in and they're here and we talk to them, and then later that week on live feed or something, like, hey, it was nice to meet you, and I don't have a fucking clue who you are. Like, you will get a very different interaction. People come in here in the middle of the day and meander around and, hey, can I help you with something? And they never disclose, hey, I watch your videos every night. Mm-hmm. You would get a very different interaction than if you just come in here and we don't know who you are. Size large. Never mind, I just watched Billy's latest video about farmers everyday carry. This question is for both you and Amanda. What are y'all's EDC? I use the tool belt when I go tend the animals on the farm to help with everything, since one of my items is a baby monitor. I like it. I use the tool belt. Is that what she said?
Maybe a tool apron?
Maybe the tool apron. So what do you carry every day?
I carry the XL Fupa every day.
Is it the XL?
Yeah.
She carries the XL Fupa. So I wear Katanica shorts, and no matter where I am, I have on Katanica shorts or Cole pants. I have a knife. I have a couple of pins. I always have cash and business cards. I always have a phone with a giant battery pack. It'll literally run 3 days. And then I have other random shit. I don't wear any of this right here on the farm. So every morning when I am at work, right before I go to the back bathroom, and I have these exact same fucking things. I literally have a pair of Solomon shoes. I have a pair of socks back there. I have some random t-shirt, and I have a identical pair of Katanica shorts. And in that Katanica shorts, I have an EDC low profile belt. I take this knife out of this pocket and put it in that pair of shorts. And I take my keys and a GoPro battery and put it in those shorts. And then I put those shorts on. I take my clean socks off and put on dirty socks. And then I take and put on dirty shoes, my farm shoes, and I put on a dirty shirt. When I come back in, I take my knife, my GoPro battery, and my keys, and I get in the shower, and then when I get out of the shower, I put the clean clothes on that I had back on. The underwear I'll put in. I believe, and I believe this is true, that when you're out sweaty and you're dirty, and you take your dirty socks and put them in your new clean shoes, you've put bacteria in there. My shoes now, since doing that, my clean shoes that I walk around during the day with and on the weekends and stuff, they do not stink like stinky ass shoes because they're not around all the sweat and the animal feces and the dirt and shit from outside. I might do that 2 or 3 times. I might go change my clothes. When I come back in, I know a lot of people can't do that during the day. I have a shower in the back of the building that is the dirty bathroom, and that is where my dirty clothes sit. I have 10 pairs of clean underwear up on the shelf. I have 10 pairs of clean socks up on the shelf. The clothes right here, and sometimes I'll even forget, and I'll take my shoes off and pop that clean socks into that dirty shoe, and when I catch myself doing that, I don't put those back in. It literally will, your clothing and shoes will last longer in that manner. We don't dry any, at least none of my shirts get dried. Mm-hmm. They get spun.
Yeah, so they go through the washer with an extra spin, and then they get hung.
And air dry. We put a fan on them. When we tried drying them outside, they get like a moldy smell to them. Mm-hmm. So we dry them in a room in the building. We have a closet in the apartment in the building that's, the closet's fucking is bigger than this area that you see on this camera. So we have 2 clothing racks on wheels. They get hung up and then fans hit them, and within a couple hours they're completely dry. Your shirts will stay darker black and will last 10 times longer than if you're drying your clothing. And the ink and the artwork will preserve. What else?
I'm gonna try that with the fan because I used to air dry my shirts because they would shrink up. I'm like, I have a long torso, and I want the back of my shirt to stay down.
Mm-hmm.
So I end up abandoning a lot of shirts because you would get the mildew smell and
Scratch the collar out.
yeah, and it would feel like there was starch on it. Like
Yeah.
they didn't feel soft when you did them out. When
Well,
you dried them outside.
that's the bacteria. That's
Yeah.
the sweat and the salts, and they're just not coming all the way clean. Take a shirt off that's completely soaking wet,
Mhm.
and just set it someplace, let it air dry. You will see the salt crystals.
Yeah,
you'll see it.
Yeah.
So the other thing too, like when I come in and my shirt's completely soaking wet, do not pull your shirt off this way,
Mhm.
and don't try to
Yeah.
pull it from the collar, right?
Yeah.
And when it's super wet, a lot of times I can't. So I'm like, hey, pull this shirt off of me. You will stretch that out. If my shirt ever feels like it's stretched out after washing, then you can dry it once and it will shrink it up a little bit. But your clothing will last a lot longer that way. As far as other EDC, like when we leave the property, I always have a large tool bag. In the large tool bag, I always carry a roll of industrial toilet paper. I blow my nose with it if you ever need toilet paper. And you guys should all be using industrial toilet paper. You have no idea how much money you are spending on toilet paper, especially if you have women in your house. If you want to know the true cost, take the toilet paper away. Don't let them just put a new roll in. Put dates, the date issued. Give them one roll. That's what happens in the military. It happens a lot. Prison, it happens. Jails happens. Boy Scout, don't let them have access. Keep it in a supply closet. Give them one roll with a date, and when they need a new roll, they have to give you the other roll. Write the end date. Do that for a few months. It will blow your fucking mind the amount you pay on toilet paper.
There was a cluster of 6 counties that got locked down a week before the rest of the country, and we were in one of those counties. And I instantly went on janitorial websites and bought industrial toilet paper. Everybody made fun of me. 2 weeks later, you couldn't buy toilet paper anywhere.
Yep.
So we buy janitorial toilet paper. And when all the toilet paper shit was going on, you could buy commercial toilet paper on Amazon. And every time, and when nobody had any Lysol products, nobody had any disinfectant or toilet paper, you could go to Lowe's and they had 2 aisles of the shit. Every fucking Lowe's had bleach because people weren't looking for it.
Exactly. They weren't thinking outside the box, you know.
Yep. And it's half the price. You get twice as much for half the price. So, well, I have to have 3-ply toilet. Well, they're folded in half. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, and it's either this or you don't have it. So do you
Right,
really have 3?
I would certainly rather use 1-ply than none at all.
Exactly.
Fold it in half twice and it's 3-ply.
Yeah.
Spit on your toilet paper when you're wiping your ass. You'll use a lot less toilet paper. Like people literally have no idea how to take a shit. Like there's not a how to take a shit class. A lot of people, nobody said, hey, this is what you do in the bathroom.
Yep.
So a large tool bag. I carry a lot of batteries. I carry some battery packs. And our EDC is really like the truck. In the doors of the truck, we have bottles of water. In the doors of the truck, we have Red Lines. It's an energy drink. We don't ever drink Red Line outside of the truck, so the Red Line still functions should we need it to function. There's a roll of toilet paper in the truck. There's a lot of stuff. Like we usually have a bag of beef jerky in the truck with us. We have some, what are those fruit bars that I like? The cherry apple.
They're called
ones.
That's It.
That's it. It's like 10 cherries and half an apple. That's the only thing in the bar. So we have a lot of stuff in the trucks. We're usually not far from the trucks. What's your take on the Old Farmer's Almanac? Do you put any consideration into it? I saw a video about using it to breed rabbits to get more females out of each litter, and anyone has heard stories about older generation living by it. Is the Farmer's Almanac called the Old Farmer's Almanac, or is he talking about like past issues?
Well, I don't know if this is what he's saying or not, but when we first moved here, I tried to get Annie one, and I got at Tractor Supply, and they said that they haven't had them in years.
We bought them.
So,
I just got one in the mail just like last week.
So maybe it was just that
So I wonder
store.
if the book is actually called The Old Farmer's Almanac, or if we're talking about old issues.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to it. It's solar cycles, right? If you ask an old timer around here, they're usually pretty spot on. It's going to be a really bad winter. Why? Because it was a really hot. They always have some reason. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm always of the if we're planning for the worst and it's not, then we're good, right? And once you've planned for the worst several times, you're pretty stocked up for whatever fucking happens. I think there's probably something to it. As far as breeding the rabbits to get more females, it has to do with temperature. When we're hatching out eggs, we can make the clutch of eggs for lizards and snakes and reptiles. By temperature, we can get more males or we can get more females. More females are worth more money. You can sell the females. Like if you want to buy giraffes, a female giraffe is $200,000. If you want to buy a male, it's $85,000. They will almost never sell you a female giraffe. You won't find a dude, you're like, I've got a male and a female, I want to get 2 more females so I can make more babies. It's almost never that you will see a female for sale where they won't make you buy a male also, because nobody wants the male giraffes. So it has to do with temperature. Now, what you're addressing, I don't know what wives' tale they have, or feed it, castor oil and it'll be girls. I don't know. But I do know in reptiles and I believe chickens too, we can move those numbers around through temperature. Red Moose Farm. When you're dead and gone, how do you want to be remembered by those you love? What about people who know you but aren't family? Thanks for the Thunderdome. Looking forward to the next level. I think a lot of people spend a lot of time talking about that because they're not doing shit right now. I don't know how I want to. I'm busy doing now, so I'm gonna be gone. Fuck them. They better fucking enjoy the time I have right now, and they can weave whatever. Like when I'm gone, they might be like, I wish we had done this, or I wish he just spent more time with this. I was busy now. I really don't have an answer to that. What's yours?
I mean, I don't care what people think of me now. Why would I care when I'm dead?
That's what I was just thinking. Like, people who don't know me personally, who the fuck cares what they think?
Yeah,
of
like
me?
I'm not a real philosophical kind of person. I'm very logical in that manner. And what you want people to think of you is not what they're going to think of you anyway. So why even give it a moment's thought when you can totally be more constructive with that time?
Yeah, it's kind of, if you're living for somebody else, you're not doing what you want to do.
No. That's a very unfulfilled life.
Exactly.
Blockade Runner. 2018 Tundra Limited factory upgrades. Aftermarket ideas. Had her for a year. Other than the SOE sticker, she's factory. P.S. Always use 93 octane. Okay, so I would have always thought years ago to run the higher octane fuel. I was told in those trucks and razors and things like that, you actually are paying more for fuel you don't need, but you are also not getting any benefit, but it's actually detrimental to run the higher octane fuel in a modern vehicle when it's not required. Now, I could be completely wrong on that. I put 87 in my Tundra. I put 87 in the 4Runner. I put high octane in the Porsches. I put high octane in the Range Rover. In the vans and the trucks, I put 87. In the diesels, we just put pump diesel in them. As far as aftermarket upgrades, that just depends on you. I mean, you've got a 2018. I'm assuming you bought it new in 2018 and you've gone all this time without it. I bought Toyota trucks because of the aftermarket, right? I have $16,000 in aftermarket parts on a $65,000 truck. I have TRD Pro trucks. Put whatever you want on. Like, are we limited by price? Are we just dreaming? Man, I love the idea of like a stage 12 Icon lift, right? With 37s. I love that idea. There's a lot of shit that comes with that. You're talking about a truck right now that gets 13 miles a gallon. Are you willing to drive a 9 mile a gallon truck? I drove an 8 mile a gallon truck every day. With a trailer, I got 4 miles a gallon. I have a V10 F250 Super Duty. We ran it everywhere. And then we put Humvee wheels on it, right? So they never fucking really balanced out right. They added 1,200 pounds of rolling weight.
Super loud.
Super loud. We had to put tires on it every year. We were doing that because I was getting brand new surplus tires for $100 a ring, $100 a tire, but it was still a fucking hassle. Like, I just got tired of being beat up all the time. We bought a 91 Suburban. She drove, when I met her, she was driving a square, not a square body, but a newer, like 93 91, 93, 95 Suburban. And then we bought a square body, right? Kind of end of the world doomsday rig. Last year they made the square body. We bought a 91. We bought it from a duck hunting place, and it had this camo wrap on it. It had a lot of shit done to it. We put a ton of money into it. Brand new motor in it right now. Probably doesn't have definitely doesn't have 5,000 miles. Brand new transmission, all bulletproofed. Detroit locker front, posi in the front, Detroit in the back. Brand new upgraded brakes. It's got a dual heater system, heater up front, heater in the back, all kinds of shit. It still has 1991 wipers, and the windows still fucking roll down slow, even though we've replaced the motors, all kinds of shit, right?
Still has 1991 AC too.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I just got tired of I wanted something new. And everybody's like, well, if the EMP goes off, most of those motherfuckers having the conversation are going to die because they can't sleep without a fucking machine. So it is what it is, man. The Tundra. So bumpers. I would say bumpers. Like, why are we driving the trucks? We took the port during COVID. We still went places all the time. We were locked kind of down for a few weeks because we were installing camera systems, because we were constantly working on stuff. We paid all of our employees for a week to stay home so that the employees were not here while we did a lot of infrastructure stuff, so that they weren't in the way, and so that there wasn't a lot of talk about what was happening. We brought in freezers, we brought in a lot of stuff. But when we drove the Panamera to Nashville, 6 months into the stuff, the money wasn't being spent on repairing the roads. There was a lot of shit going on. Who is it? What's up?
Just checking on these before I start cutting all this stuff. We're doing printed webbing on all of this, but the shoulder and waist straps will be black.
That's correct.
Okay, just making sure.
Because we don't have the 1.5" in print.
Correct.
And the waist straps, yeah, that's how we're doing it.
Okay.
And because it's a covert rig, right?
And this piece will be printed on the face, but the one underneath.
That's right.
Normal.
Yep. That's exactly. See how fucking hard that Velcro is?
Yeah.
That's why I put that deadener in there.
Yeah, that's no joke.
So this is here,
Grip.
and if it's a skinny dude, like I think on me running this rig,
Shrink it up more.
I'd probably bring it in another few inches and terminate some of that. But that's how that's gonna go. It'll fit a big huge guy. It'll fit a small guy. But if you're running this for the application, that's all you're seeing anyways.
Right.
So yeah. Yep. Cool.
We're talking about knowing why you built something. That little tab is genius. Like, somebody else who didn't know what they were talking about wouldn't know to put that.
It's just the little things, man. You have to have that there.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got a gun in one hand, or you've got something, right?
Gloves on.
One hand, gloves. That's so. What was I saying?
You were talking about bumpers, and you were
Bumpers.
driving into.
So you can leave that piece in where Cody came in. Just
you want
leave,
me to?
Yeah, fucking
Okay.
leave it in there. Let him hear it. So bumpers. It's the most. It's going to make the most visual. It's the most functional. We run the trucks. We ran the Porsche into town. There were potholes to the point they literally were destroying the cars. So we did trucks, right? We got the Tacoma. We traded the Tacoma after a while for the 4Runner. We put bumpers. Why did we build the 4Runner the way we built the 4Runner? I built the 4Runner and chose those pieces because you had fools rioting and you had like pop-up people closing down interstates. We put bumpers on them motherfuckers to run through people, to push things out of the way. I pictured being, someplace in Nashville, and all of a sudden there's roads closed, right? Do you need to jump up over the curb, run across a stop sign, run through the corner of a building? That's why we put the bumpers and we built the trucks the way we did. So bumper, you can do a farmhand bumper. I think those look stupid. I have one on the Dodge. It looks like a farm truck. We did the bumper we did because I wanted to be able to drive through shit and not have it destroy the truck. All the front ends of the new trucks are all crumple zone. Like, you will destroy your truck. A lot of people don't realize if you hit something with your truck, and that if the airbag deploys, or sometimes when it doesn't, there's a fuel cutoff switch. Like, it'll turn your shit off. So be aware of that. So bumpers. And then on the back of the bumper, we have gate swing out. So I carry a full-size spare. I carry 10 gallons of fuel. There's a ladder so that I can access the roof rack. We have boxes on the roof rack. We have traction mats on the roof rack. We can put a lot of things on the roof rack that we don't need immediate access to, and we don't have it moving around in the cargo area. We have a system in there that is MOLLE panels for the sidewalls, which basically blocks the rear windows. We can attach all kinds of shit to that. You can attach them through a mounting hole. You can also attach anything MOLLE to that. You can hang soft bags. There's all kinds of stuff that goes on that thing. And then I have a gear rack that connects to that. That's a shelf. You can run that down low. You can run it up high. We have it up high, and it just basically allows us to use that extra headliner room up there that's got that. It's got that divot in there. We keep a lot of soft stuff up there. You might put a pillow in there, but we put a lot of rain gear and shit in there. A lot of soft extra clothing. It's always in the truck. You never see it. It's there if we ever need it. There's times when we've gone to different events and stuff, and we're like, this is a working farm. Am I going to be muddy? Well, you can keep a clean pair of shoes in there, right? Now with that, I don't have any like modifications. Like even the Suburban has a brand new Chevy crate motor, 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty. I don't have 5,000 miles on that truck. It's out of warranty. It's timed out because of the time, but I didn't do any performance stuff. I want it to run on normal pump gas. I want it to fucking just run. I don't have performance stuff done on any of the Toyota trucks. I have a fucking 7-year warranty on them. Like we literally drive them into Toyota. They change the fuel. They do any of the things I need done. We have a good relationship with the dealership. If the dealership's like, I can't get you in today, I text the owner of the dealership and I'm like, hey, Chris, can I come in and get this done? And he's like, yes, when would you like to show up? So Toyota's been good. We've done a lot of Toyota stuff in the last couple of years because Toyota's the only company, when I tag them in social media, they reshare my posts. I tag the dealership and I let the owner know the first few times that we had put these up. Here, check this out. He reshares it, and then Toyota shares it. I have 2.5 million views on any of our videos where we had Toyota product placement. Fucking Porsche's never done that for me. Polaris Razors have never done that for me. No one has. Toyota does. That's why we're very brand loyal. I think you get a lot for the money. Does it cost more? Yeah, it costs more. It's been worth it to us, though.
In reality, you just said that it was a $65,000 truck. I mean, there's a lot more expensive trucks out there than that, so it doesn't cost that much more.
It's a mid-sized truck for 65.
Yeah.
Like Pierre was like, man, you could have got a Dodge. Pierre had a Dodge Rebel. It was nice. It was very nice inside.
And it was the same price, probably.
Yeah,
or
and
more
he only
expensive.
kept it a year.
Yeah.
Once he had it, he's like, I don't want this motherfucker. Blockade Runner. Does Miss Willis hand make all of the hanks?
Yes. Every one of them. From cutting the material to sewing them and doing the embroidery and all of it.
You guys should cut them. They're 2 pieces, right? You should cut them open. There might be a little something hidden in there.
Don't cut them open.
Blockade Runner. Does Miss Willis... Blockade Runner also. Why do I trust and take John Willis' advice, who is a stranger, more than a lot of friends and family?
Because he's right.
Results. You show
I think it's results, right? I think that because I speak to you guys so frequently and you have so much access, I do a video every night at 9 o'clock. But I walk all around my building, so you see things. And you see things that I don't even realize you see, right? We don't try to conceal anything. We don't try to hide anything. We don't try to weave or fabricate a picture so that we don't try to convince you of something that's not true. And I think that I have enough history from the very beginning of social media. There's 700,000 people on Facebook, 65,000 on Instagram. I put out different videos in different places, kind of, but you trust me because you haven't caught me bullshitting you, right? There's a lot of people that say things, and then when you actually look at something else, or they fucking some piece they didn't realize was in their video, you realize they're full of shit, right? When I met Bear Independent was doing exactly what he said he was going to do, right? We rolled up to the disaster area. There was no bullshit.
It's fucking raining.
He did exactly what and there's people talking shit and all kinds of crazy shit. But you know what? I didn't see any of them motherfuckers out there talking shit. I saw 120 fucking people and a storm. A tornado just literally wiped this place out 2 days earlier. And we're out in the fucking torrential downpour. And there's semi trucks coming in of people that like, here's this lumber, here's these things, here's this, right? So we went there because I wanted to meet Bear. He didn't know who the fuck I was. I was just another fucking weirdo from the internet, right? But it was important. I had access. He was close enough. It was important enough for me because I felt like I trusted him. I watched a lot of his videos. I shared a lot of them. We talked a lot about it. And I wanted to see him in real life, right? And I met the Angry Prepper there too. And that dude, I liked that guy. I liked what I saw in real life. So there's something to be said for shaking and looking in a man's eyes and shaking hands. But we take it even a step further, right? We used to have parties here several times a year, and you could just show up. You could just show up. A dude showed up here this morning, and it's like, I drove 8 hours. I just wanted to meet John. I just wanted to talk to him. So we talked for a couple hours, maybe a little less. But with the Self-Reliance Festival, you can come here, and be all around the property without me going, oh, what's he about to see, right? Oh shit. Hey, you don't want to go. Come over here. That's where the other shit is. That's not really what we're about, right?
That's where the unicorn is.
There's none of that. Like, it's real, and there is enough fucking people that can go and like, when you see some shit talker out on the internet, right? You'll see a shit talker, and 20 dudes will be like, that was not my experience at all. Have you actually been there? Like, have you ever met John? Have you ever had a conversation? Like, I was there a dozen times, right? And I think that's it. It's just history, right? I haven't been caught. Like, my skeletons are out of the closet. Like, I fucking, the whole felon thing, right? You don't really hear it as much anymore. That's the only thing when you see a dude talking shit or he doesn't get his way. Oh, felon, right? Felon. You only know that because I put that out there. I made those videos 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and people see them and they don't realize I'm the one that fucking said it. So,
man, I'm talking about realest, one of the realest to try. My family, SOE, got the tools to survive.